would you say the Pledge of Allegiance?
Sure. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, public comment. This is a non-agenda items. Is there anybody that would like to speak? Seeing none, I'll move on. Has everybody had a chance to review the minutes?
I have. I saw no additions or corrections.
Is that a motion?
I'll make a motion to accept as written.
Okay, have a second?
I'll second that, Mr. Chairman.
All
I'll
in favor-
second that.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Passes 3-0. Okay. Reports. Okay. Reports, commissioner comments and committee reports.
I have none.
Bill, you have
I
anything?
have none.
Okay, I have an announcement. Fiber, this is a news release from Rainbow Communications. Fiber internet is coming to Effingham and Lancaster. Rainbow Communications, headquartered in Everest, Kansas, is pleased to announce the expansion of its fiber network to the residents and businesses of the town of Effingham and Lancaster. Rainbow recently qualified for a $2.8 million in the Connectivity Emergency Response Grant to expand the fiber network to reach underserved rural areas during a time when broadband connectivity is essential. The federal government created the Coronavirus Aid Relief and Economics Act, CARE Act, and has provided money to the state of Kansas for expenditures related to economic support for small businesses and increase internet connectivity in Kansas. In response, Rainbow applied for the Connectivity Emergency Response Grant to bring a better broadband experience to towns of Effingham and Lancaster. Both towns are currently underserved according to the Federal Communication FCC guidelines, at least 25 MPS by 3 MPS connection. Bringing faster and reliable broadband to Effingham and Lancaster aligns with our mission of enhancing rural communities by delivering exceptional broadband service, said Jason Smith, GM and CEO of Rainbow Communication. Smith continues, we'd like to thank the legislature and the state of Kansas in recognizing the importance of broadband during this time. Rainbow is very grateful to the opportunity to bring its neighboring towns, Effingham and Lancaster, a better broadband experience. Residents and business owners in Effingham and Lancaster we cannot wait to serve you. We'll be in touch with you with more information. I thought that was really a great announcement. We have the EMS report. We'll accept and file. New business before the board. Justin Prashad and Gilmore and Bell representatives.
Yeah, so this is, I want to be clear, since there's a lot of other people that are on this call. I'm appearing today not in my capacities as the assistant city manager. I'm appearing in my capacities as the developer and manager of 1913 LLC, who just recently completed construction of our project to build 17 apartment units at the old YMCA. I've hired Gilmore and Bell to handle this transaction, which is an industrial revenue bond issue, which gave our company a sales tax exemption on construction materials for this project. And the county commission was kind enough to sponsor that and help me do that. I've done the same in my capacities with the city for other projects. And so I appreciate the county being willing to work with me so that I can maintain a degree of separation between my day job and this side project that I was pursuing. So on the front side of this thing, the county commission had to do some approvals to get this thing going and get that sales tax exemption issued. And on the back end, that same type of action is required, and that's what's on your agenda today. Thankfully, Dominic Eck with Gilmore and Bell is logged in, so I don't have to understand all the nuance of this transaction. So I would refer any questions that you might have to him, but I'm certainly willing to discuss anything that you want about the project as well.
Dominic?
Thank you. Yes, this is Dominic Eck with Gilmore and Bell. As Justin mentioned, he gave a great summary of the project. Now that the project is complete, the next step is to actually issue the bonds. That's what the resolution is before you today. It authorizes the issuance of the bonds and the execution of the related documents. As a reminder, these bonds are conduit bonds for the county and are not an obligation of the county in any way. They do not affect the county's debt limit obligations. They're not general obligations of the county. They are payable solely from any revenues received by renting the project to Justin's group. Justin's group will also be the bond purchaser, so they will be both the obligor and the beneficiary of the bond. So the funds flow right back to him and are typically made on a journal entry basis. This does not affect the county's rating either, because it is a conduit issue. These bonds will be outstanding for about 6 months, and then the county's interest in the process will be wound up and released, and the project will move forward. So yeah, as Justin mentioned, I'm happy to entertain any questions that the commission may have.
Any of the commissioners have questions?
At the end of that 6 months, is there going to have to be any process at that time to basically release the county?
Yes, typically we'll come back with one more resolution that will authorize the execution of a release of the leases and bring forward the other documents indicating that the bonds have matured and paid off and are no longer outstanding.
I think that's about it. That being said, the chair will entertain approving a resolution number 2020-1472, a resolution authorizing Atchison County, Kansas to issue its taxable industrial revenue bond series 2020 1913 LLC project for the purpose, that's the old YMCA, for the purpose of paying the cost of acquisition, construction, renovation, and equipping a commercial facility, and authorizing certain other documents and actions in connection wherein. Do I have a motion?
Also move.
It's been moved by Commissioner Knoll to approve resolution 2020-1472. Do I have a second?
I second it.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I assume you're ready to vote. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
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 Passes 3-0. Anything else, Justin or Dominic? Or?
That's all from me. I just want to say thank you. It helped me create a degree of separation with my day job, and I know it's still kind of a confusing situation, but I appreciate you all being willing to partner with me to make this project happen. It's something that our company is really proud of. So thank you again.
Well, our group has been really excited about the project. Thank
Are
goodness.
they full?
Yes. Yeah, they were full within a month. The lease up took less than a month. So
Looks really nice.
thank you.
Is there any margin, Justin, or?
On an after-tax basis, and maybe 5-7 years down the road, we'll do okay. But
It's a lot harder to make those things happen.
yeah,
Hey,
it's
thanks a lot, Dominic and Justin. You can hang around. We've got a good meeting going today.
I might.
Okay. Moving right along. The next thing we're going to talk about is the Sparks grant. And this is the Spark grant is, as you know, Atchison County allocated coronavirus relief funds under the Coronavirus Act Relief and Economic Security Act, CARES Act, to be distributed within the county. Under the CARES Act, the governing body, meaning the county commissioners, is responsible for allocating of the funds. we already allocated a substantial amount of funds. This is the individual Sparks grants for small businesses and nonprofits. To assist in this process, the board appointed an advisory committee known as the Atchison County Sparks Grant Committee. It's made up of the following: Mark Windsor, President of Exchange National Bank; Sharon Swazer, a community member from Muskota; Wes Lanter, Atchison County; Angie Hughes, Farm Bureau agent. I believe she located in Lancaster. Pat Henderson, Atchison County Counselor; Brian Hankey, Exchange National Bank, Effingham; Jeff Cottle, President of Union State Bank; and Jack Bauer, Atchison County District 1. So those are the members of the committee. County staff solicited applications. Several businesses and nonprofit entities each submitted Atchison County COVID-19 economic assistance application. The grant committees reviewed each application. In some cases, the county sought additional information from the applicants. The grant committee has formulated a recommendation for our consideration. With its So I want to give a little bit about process. The committee, when they met, identified by direction from the state of Kansas that we had to provide funds for COVID relief. So that was our first place we allocated money. The second place was for lost revenue or lost profits. I would tell you that each person signed the document that all of their numbers are accurate and that we're working with true and honest numbers. If it'll also take a second look from getting money from getting information from your CPA or your accountant or federal tax document. So it'll be reconfirmed, and any invoices for any money in the COVID have to be produced and recorded by the County of Atchison. So this is just the start of the process. There's going to be a lot of details, a lot of hoops for people to jump through. So today we're going to take some time to let people talk about their thoughts about this allocation of funds. I know there's a lot of people that are very interested. So we actually have some individuals who've signed up to speak today. I'm going to let them speak, and then when I'm finished, I will let other applicants who did not sign up speak. And after they speak, I will allow people other than applicants to speak also. I'm not going to limit the amount of time the applicants can speak as long as it's within reason. When the non-applicants speak, I'm going to limit your time to 3-minute comment. So moving forward, I'm going to call on people who signed up in alphabetical order. Margie Begley, you're first. You have to unmute, Margie. You have to unmute, Margie.
Thank you. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. I had applied for this grant, and I of course appreciate anything that we may get. At this point, part of the unclaimed bills that I have not claimed for any other grants is at $72,000, and I have other improvements like a phone system so that we can better hear to-go orders coming in, tables and chairs for the deck so that people can sit outside, and then just today I found out that I have to be quarantined for 2 weeks. So that's going to hurt our income as far as people are going to be more afraid to come in and eat with us, and I'm going to have to hire people to cover for me. So if there was any other money that you could find for us, I would appreciate it.
Thank you, Margie. Anything else?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. Monica, bye.
Good afternoon, Commissioners Pohl, Bauer, Knoll, and members of the Spark Grant Distribution Team, and everybody else joining in today. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak to you today. I am here on behalf of 16 small business owners who were denied funds from the Spark Grant. Their names are Country Dog Grooming, Tammy's Doggy Groom and Wash, Martha's Stitch and Sweets, JW Boys Barbecue, Brad Bell from Diamond Food Service, Byan Construction, Bell Construction, Brown Construction, BRT Inc., Pruitt Construction, Midwestern Lace, Regan Tax and Accounting, Hair Loft, KT and Company Salon, Taylor Jones, and the Roloff Brothers. My name is Monica Byan. My husband Mitch and I own Byan Construction, a company that has transitioned from general contracting to overseeing rental properties and storage units. We applied for and were denied money from the Spark Grant that the Atchison community was awarded to help business owners recoup losses due to COVID-19. Initially, my husband and I were extremely upset that our company wasn't awarded any money. We endured thousands of dollars of lost revenue as a direct result of COVID-19. Our initial feelings changed as we looked over the recipient list. There didn't seem to be any rhyme or reason to how the money was awarded. We couldn't figure out how some companies received the full amount they asked for, some a portion that made no sense, and several no money at all. Many businesses that were denied funds were part of the health department's mandatory shutdown. Obviously, their revenue was impacted by COVID-19. The form letter that was sent to the business owners who were denied funds did not give any reason for the denial, which allowed for people to speculate as to why certain businesses received money while others did not. We couldn't help but wonder if there was personal malicious intent behind the awarding. I began talking with those who were also denied to see if there was a common denominator. I was able to visit with 16 of the 25 people who were denied and learned of their concerns. Talking to them was extremely enlightening. Here are some of the personal concerns which highlight clear revenue loss due to COVID-19. Melissa White from Midwestern Lace said, "I had zero income. I lost several weddings and photography sessions, but I still donated back to our community by taking free social distance porch pictures." Martha from Martha's Stitch and Sweets said she suffered a huge loss of revenue just due to changes at USD 377 due to COVID-19. Prior to COVID, she provided meals for school celebration, which were obviously discontinued for this school year. In addition to losing her catering business, she lost the USD 377 alumni dinner, which typically serves over 150 people. Devastating for a small business. Kim at Country Dog Grooming was considered non-essential and shut down for several weeks. She was frustrated that a lot of places that got significant amounts of money were able to stay open during the shutdown. Diana Service from Hair Loft is extremely frustrated for being overlooked when she was also part of the mandatory shutdown. Teresa Boldridge from JW Boys has many, many concerns, one of which is frustration that animals seem to have been taken care of better than humans in the allocation of funds. A few additional concerns we would like to highlight include the amount of money Bellevue Country Club received while being able to stay open during the shutdown. Benedictine College was awarded $50,000 in addition to an initial payout of $130,000 that they received from the main Spark Grant. The Atchison Community Education Foundation, while a great foundation, received $8,000. Their sole existence is to provide a high school student with a scholarship to Benedictine. The Humane Society of Atchison received a large portion of money. There were many questions about why these businesses received the money they did. These are just a few examples of what I heard while talking with business owners. A complete list of our concerns was compiled and presented to the commissioners and board members via email yesterday. After compiling this list, we began to dig deeper into the process. We did some research, asked some questions, and discovered that there was no malicious intent. The board members made decisions with integrity with the information that was presented to them. While we still have many questions about the formula that was used in awarding money, I think we have narrowed down what the problems are that resulted in a hugely flawed process. There are 4. First, the development of Atchison County Spark Grant Committee. How were these members chosen? Was there an application process for them? Was the makeup of the committee representative of all Atchison County residents? Did any of the members of the board have personal experience with economic hardship due to COVID-19? Was training provided to ensure no biases and discrimination would result and that a fair review of each application would ensue? Number 2, knowledge of the existence of the Spark Grant. How was the Spark Grant advertised? Now that this has become a topic on social media, many small business owners claim to not even know that this assistance was available. Number 3, a flawed application. And this is one of the most serious problems with this whole procedure. It was explained to me that board members placed applications in 3 categories. 1, expenses directly related to COVID-19. 2, lost revenue. And 3, economic development. The board decided that if projected revenue for 2020 was more than actual revenue in 2019, then the request for the grant was automatically classified as economic development and funds were denied. There is a major flaw with this. A thriving business will always plan for growth in a yearly projected revenue, and that number is usually determined in January of 2020. We always understand as business owners that extenuating circumstances like a pandemic might occur to change those numbers, but you always want to set a goal for growth in your business. We now understand that the application was trying to determine 2020 revenue after COVID-19. The form failed to specify this, thus automatically denying funds to business owners. If the language had been clearer, would there have been a need for a 3rd category, or would all applicants have been able to show loss due to COVID-19? Finally, number 4, flawed communication. The board requested follow-up information from our business via email. I was fortunate to see this email as it came from Mark Wilson's personal email account with the subject line, grant application. Patty Byen, owner of K.S.A. Company, received the same email and overlooked it because there was no indication on the email that it had anything to do with the Spark grant. How many other business owners lost the opportunity for grant money due to this flaw in communication? In addition, since it was sent from a personal email, the email could very easily have gone to a recipient's spam mailbox. How many people did you ask for a response and didn't receive a reply? Was this issue addressed when making final decisions? The application instructions never indicated that follow-up emails may be sent. However, there was a place for cell phone numbers. Were alternative measures taken to notify applicants that more information was needed? We believe that the board acted with integrity in awarding the Spark grant money. We also truly believe that the system used was seriously flawed, which resulted in business owners in desperate need of financial help being left out. We are asking Commissioners Pohl, Bauer, and Knoll to review the letters that you have received via email on behalf of the 16 business owners, and we are asking you to not approve the board's proposed grant awards. Instead, address our concerns, make changes to the process, and perhaps re-award funds. The state of Kansas requires that the funds be distributed by December, And while I know as a business owner who has suffered throughout this process that there is an immediate need for these funds, equity and distribution is imperative. Thank you for your time.
Monica. Okay, next is Dennis Bell.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. I'm representing Diamond Seafood, and I think the whole problem here is there's either misinformation or misunderstood information. If you'll go to the stuff that I sent you yesterday, I sent a thing from the Commerce Department. Do you see that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. In that, we're classified as a small or very small food processing, meat processing plant. And we've been in touch with the Department of Agriculture, the Kansas Meat and Poultry Inspection, the Kansas Governor's Office, the Department of Commerce, the Kansas Rural Center, and Senator Jerry Moran, and they've all urged us to apply, starting with the county and on to the state, for any process to enhance the processing of meat in a smaller and very small facility. In that thing from the Commerce Department, the applications for the 130 million, meat processing and food secure is listed as number 2. And I understand the need for broadband, but if you'll look, broadband is number 7 on the list. I see in the application thing that Rainbow was in on something that the rest of us weren't aware of. But it's clearly laid out, and that's where I think the misinformation or misunderstood information come from. When the county first got their 3.2 million, and there was quite a few people evidently had a part of that meeting, and on the way home, 2 different people had called us and encouraged us to apply for this, because the way it read and the way it reads in the Commerce Department application thing, they said you're a shoe-in. You're a shoe-in because you're a food processor. And we're the only one in the county, actually. And, you know, like I say, the eligibility list, meat or food supply is number 2. And, you know, maybe we should have been, in that case, according to the Commerce Department, maybe we should have been in for where Rainbow was, that nobody knew about. I had no idea until we got the thing at the end where who got awarded money and who was denied, that was even a possibility. And I also picked up off the internet of what everybody was awarded, and you know, Rainbow actually got more than what the rest of the county could get. And also on the list, if you'll go to the application, the Atchison County COVID-19 list, the application list, on page 2, it specifically says that provided those expenses were not previously reimbursed in whole or in part through other CARES Act funding sources. Well, the city awarded theirs prior to the county awarding theirs, and there's 6 businesses on the city's list that's also awarded on the county list. But our own application denies that and then turns around and does it. That's the part of it that is hard for everybody to understand. You know, like I say, misinformation, misunderstood information, I don't know which it is, but I agree with Monica. was very flawed in some way. So we're asking for you guys to reject that, send it back to the committee and say, you know, there's a bunch of information misunderstood here. All of those departments from the state encouraged us to triple or quadruple the size of our meat processing facility. And we've already started on it because, like I said, people called us and said, you know, that's a shoe-in. We also know from the Meat and Poultry Inspection Department that there's lots of small to very small processors across the state and in Missouri that's received up to $250,000 to be able to do that. And, you know, to go along with Monica, I hate to criticize anybody, but, you know, it's hard for me to believe that golfing or vapes could be more important than food processing or businesses to continue or be able to continue. And I don't want to take up any more of your time. I thank you a lot for taking the time to listen to me. So pass it on to the next one.
Thanks a lot, Dennis. Diana Surveys? Diana, are you here? She's not here.
Sorry, I had to get them ready. Are you guys on?
We good?
Okay, you're okay.
Mark is going to speak
Okay.
first.
First of all, it's Mark and Diana's service, Jack. You should know that. I want to express Mrs. Bond's statements as being spot on, and I think that all of her statements are very true and should be not taken lightly. But I also have some concerns of my own about this process. Diane and I own the hair loft at 1529 Main Street. She submitted a grant for the hair loft, and she sent you in the packet. You should have all the details of her application. In those details, you'll see that she was among the group that was forced to close her business due to the county mandates, and she was closed for almost 9 weeks. During that time, she received no unemployment, she received no PPP, no CDBG, she had no funding at all for income. She had zero income. And since her application was refused by the committee in which you served, Mr. Bauer, you served on that, deems her not entitled to any Spark grants. So there again, she's had no income nor her employees for 8 to 9 weeks. The grant amounts were from $1,000 to $50,000. The details again are in your packet she sent you. She sent you an amount of $5,500 asked for some supplemental income towards her lost income and all the extra expenses she's endured since staying open for supplies during this COVID times. That's a pretty monumental small amount compared to some of the greediness that I feel some of the other businesses or applications awarded, yet she was still denied. She was one of 25, in fact, that were denied, that received zero assistance. And for these reasons, I think that I'll say the same as Mrs. Bine and Dennis said, the commission should have a vote no towards the proposals that the committee sent out, and the whole application process should be reviewed. And so all the applicants have a fair chance at some assistance. And in that regard, you know, not just some, but everyone has a chance at some assistance. All these applicants have been somehow affected by the COVID situation during these times, so they're all entitled to some kind of assistance. I'd like to give one more example of how I feel these proposals are unfair. I'm going to direct this right at you, Mr. Bowser. There was 2 members of your family that applied for applications, that submitted applications for the maximum of $50,000. They weren't awarded that amount, but both of them were still awarded. Diana asked again, remember, for $5,500, which is less than half of it, she's been, can testify that's lost income and expenses. Plus, there's still going to be a huge amount of people that aren't comfortable coming in her shop. So that number is going to continue to climb. She was still refused. So I guess I asked from you, Mr. Bauer, I would like an explanation of how the committee made these decisions and made the decision of who won and who lost in this process. And second, I would like a response from the commission to answer whether there's going to be a total review of this whole process. And I thank you for your time.
Thank you. Anything else?
Diana might have some additional comments.
I'm Diana Service. I have owned the hair loft for 25 years. You all have received the information in the packet that I sent you on how I felt about how this situation was handled. Shawnee, Hiawatha, Lincoln, Horton, Lawrence, and Marion. These are just a few counties I have researched. These counties set a base and a cap of $10,000 to all businesses affected by COVID and their counties. They also have requirements that the Sparks grant cannot be used for the same reason they acquired the PPP lending, the CDBG. I hope your committee thoroughly investigated into that with the ones that you are going to award. Your committee has left 25 small businesses with no help. My question is why? Why would you let it happen? Every single business in Atchison County has suffered loss. My shop was shut down. We had no way to do any kind of curbside service. We had no income coming in whatsoever. Some of the businesses that you awarded still got to do curbside, still got to carry on with some of their business. We were shut down for 8.5 weeks. I'm asking you to vote no today. Go back, figure out a plan, figure out a way every small business in your county can receive help to get us through this COVID crisis. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, that's all the applicants who cited to speak today. Are there other applicants that like to speak? Okay, moving right along. Commissioners, we heard a lot of information today. My suggestion would be that we look at all the applications today and decide whether we want to award them or not award them.
I guess before I would maybe need some more information on the process before we start down that road of looking at each one of these. In our meeting this morning, we were talking about the state of Kansas wished or asked that the top tiers be made whole and thus awarded what they were awarded, and it basically ran out of money before we got down to the third tier. So if we change that, limit those top ones, is that gonna be approved by the state if we change the direction that we were given by the state?
I was on many calls with the state. I spent a lot of time being educated in this particular area. But Eric, I'm going to tell you, it's clear as mud. So there's some challenges with that. I think as far as the process is concerned, probably Monica laid it out pretty well. There was a decision made based upon the state's recommendation to fund lost income, lost revenue in some form first. And once that was done, we went on to, I'm sorry, I got that.
Economic
We did COVID first and then lost revenue. There was many people who had great economic development ideas. So I can't say that there weren't good ideas. And chances are that they've known exactly how we were going to approach it. They would have spent more time on their COVID and their revenue issues. I think the process was fair. I think it could be easily second guessed by a lot of people. I would mention that everybody on the committee, everybody, had to recuse themselves from discussions from being related, having a business interest, having a client. Those things were all, those people did not discuss any of the businesses based upon their conflicts at all. A lot of it was determined by using formulas that determined where the money should lie based upon the percent of, a lot of times people were asking for grants that were way in excess of their percent of revenue. Like someone have $10,000 of revenue might be asking for $30,000. Those were all, we tried to normalize all of those. So those were a challenge in that particular regard. Wes, I'd like you to chime in and add anything that I've missed in that situation.
So yeah, the grant committee reviewed the applications, put them into those three buckets that you discussed of COVID expenses, lost profit, and third, economic development. Some of the businesses were asking for more grant dollars than they receive in a year as far as revenue. We did have to rely heavily on those applications. I mean, 100% on those applications to allot funding. And we did email out 18 emails from Mark Wilson's county email address, so mwilson@atcoks.org, to those applicants. We did receive most of those responses back. I think out of 18 or 25, I'm sorry, there was 8 people that did not respond with additional information. The ones that did respond, that was very helpful to be able to understand what they were trying to say when we were reviewing those. The grant committee went through every application one by one. We didn't selectively go over anyone, but one by one, every application was reviewed by the whole grant committee and discussed by the whole grant committee before we move to the next one. This is a very difficult process when you have requests of $2 million and you only have $725,000 to give out. And like Jack said, you can always second guess what people do. There's no way to make all of the applicants 100% happy no matter what is done. But the committee tried their best to do what they thought was best, following the guidance that we received from the state.
Jack, can I speak? Jack.
The thing is, this is not a public meeting. This is a meeting in public. So I would like to speak, Dennis, but we can't have a long conversation. You've already had your chance to speak. But go ahead.
Okay, I just want to say one thing. Can you explain to me then in the county's application,
You're unmuted.
those expenses can't be reimbursed if they were already reimbursed with CARES money, and the 6 businesses that received funding from the city through the CARES, and they got approved in the counties? I mean, that's double dipping. You know, I don't know how you get around that. I mean, and I'll be honest with you,
You can't
this is
say.
the only
Well, it
county,
hasn't been approved yet.
I know.
this is the only county that I've come across that had that stipulation. And it was in the Atchison County application. Now, who put it in there, I don't know. But I will go back again and reiterate either misinformation, because what you're saying you learned from the Commerce Department is not what I have gotten. And I have the names of all the department people that I've spoke to. So I know what you're saying, but I also know what I heard from them. So I'm done now.
Okay, thanks. I have not had any conversation with the Commerce Department. This is to the CARES Department, CARES Act Department, the state of Kansas. So I've not had a direct conversation with the Commerce Department. Wes, you want to continue? Or you think you got everything?
So
I would like to have another response. This is Mark Service.
Okay. Mark, I'm gonna let you speak, but you gotta do it quick, okay?
You know, I understand, but this is a pretty sensitive issue. I think you, the commission and you yourself should allow me a little time. So, you know, there again, I don't know how we just say this is unfair, and I'm probably going to deliver a couple blows below the belt, but you said there was formulas used and everything was taken into consideration. The application was very vague on how much information you needed, so we could have supplied more. But if you did follow the guidelines you're telling me, like I said, I'm gonna deliver a below the belt. If you want to look at one business, the SW Music Supply submitted an application for $50,000. Now, if these guidelines were all in consideration, how come the committee saw it deemed unnecessary that they only get $2,000? So you can't tell me that you think this whole committee guidelines, if that was an astronomical amount was asked and they felt that it was unnecessary for that amount, but they only distributed 2,000. Now I know that, like I said, I'm delivering below the belt. I don't want to pick on any businesses, but I still feel like the commission to vote this go through is in such a manner of government that we have elected in Atchison County to be totally unfair. I'll wait for your response.
I don't know if it needs a response. I told you I did not participate in that particular grant process.
Okay, that's what you've done in the past when I've had issues, so I don't seek anything different from you, but I would think you would. There's other people that are on this meeting that would like an explanation rather than just go behind our back and talk about it. I would like an explanation of how this went, and if the commission is going to vote, and I'd like to hear them vocally make a decision. Are we gonna vote this through, or are we gonna reevaluate it?
We're gonna discuss that, Mark.
Well, I'll wait for that discussion.
Okay, well, give us a chance. Okay.
Okay, while Wes was up, I think one thing that should be hit really quickly is Monica's point, number 2 of the knowledge of the grant. I know Wes had laid out how he advertised that, and I think I would like for him to reiterate to the group. I think that's something that's really easy to confirm that it was advertised.
So we advertised the grant process through every way that we thought possible, next to going door to door to door. We posted it on the county website. We posted it in our local newspaper. I myself spoke on several radio or on the Good Morning or Good News show on Care Radio. We slammed and even paid extra money onto social media to get it spread out farther than what the normal viewers usually see. I personally sent out 600 emails. I don't have everyone's emails, but I sent out 600 emails to businesses that I had. I mean, as far as people saying they didn't know, I don't know another way besides going door to door and knocking on every door to get it out to everyone. I mean, I thought we covered our basis there. We also sent emails to our cities in the county, hoping that they would spread that information out to people that reside in their city. So I don't know of another way that we could have possibly tried to notify the public besides what we tried.
Thank you.
Bill, you have any questions? Or any comments?
Did I hear too, Wes, that wasn't Mark's personal email, but it was a county email address that those emails were sent from?
Correct. It was from N Wilson at atcokS.org. That's what all of our county email addresses are. Their first letter, last name. I mean, the city of Atchison's the same way. They do a variation of name from, like Becky Burger, for example, is Becky B at City of Atchison. So, so it was a county email. It had the county title, its title and the logo on the bottom of its emails. Spark grant, I would have thought people, when they saw that, I just thought they would have said, oh, maybe I should actually review this because I submitted a Spark grant. I guess
I'm sorry, could I speak, please? It was not titled Spark Grant. That is the miscommunication. It was from a person, it was from, when I say personal, there was an email for Spark. That's how people were to turn in their application. So there was an email address that could have been used to reply, and people who had sent emails, their emails would have recognized that because they had engaged with that email address. The subject of the line was grant. I have it in my notes somewhere. There was nothing about Spark in the email address or in the subject. I'm sure as a business person or whatever, you played a million different roles in this town. You're a health professional and you're a business professional and you're the IT guy. I'm sure you're inundated with emails. So something that is not catching your eye, that is not labeled Spark, can easily get lost in emails. That is a huge communication problem, huge. And you mentioned that you had 8 people that you didn't respond to, but you sent 600 emails and you made phone calls and you did this, that, and the other. Why wasn't the same effort made for those people? Especially when you look at those businesses, and they were a lot of the ones who were victims of the mandatory shutdown. And I am also still waiting for somebody to discuss the application flaws. You have come back several times to the economic development. I would venture to say that nobody applied for this grant for economic development. Now, you may have termed it that because of this terrible part of the application. Can you see, or would you like me to share my screen? I can do both. This right here doesn't even touch on a loss of revenue due to COVID-19. You looked at a number that was projected in 2020 from everything I've heard, and compared it to 2019, and if it was more than the other, that was economic development. That's not how that works. That is a flaw in the application. Can somebody address that for me and not focus on how people could find out about the grant? I'm sorry I even included that in my statement at this point.
I believe from what I've heard, I wasn't on that committee, but it was actually more of the statements of what the money was going to be used for that determined that it wasn't going to be used for revenue or COVID relief, PPE, that type of thing, but it was to expand, to add to the business, which was determined to be economic development. That's the way I understand it. So, and I do admit that the application forms are vague, but I think that if everything was put out there and everybody knew all of the rules, that it would have been, well, not all of the rules, but all the criteria, it would all have been applied only for revenue loss and try to show only one thing. So I'm open. I'm still listening.
It's unfortunate that you were told that, because I can read you verbatim the email that I got from Mark Wilson when I asked for clarification on why we did not receive that grant. And the exact email, give me 1 second to pull it up, explains how they came to that. It says, we prioritize based on direct COVID expenses, lost revenue, and finally, economic development. Based upon the type of expenses, which I would argue that, but I'm going to move on to the second part of this, and the fact that your projected revenue is expected to be higher than 2019, your request was classified as economic development. Do any of you own businesses? How many of you project to make less from one year to the other? What kind of business model is that? In 2020, when you sit down to plan for the year, a growing business plans to make more money. They're teaching that down the hall in a business class. You project, it's a goal.
Maybe I shouldn't ask this, but I'm going to. What's the date of your application? When did you apply? August?
The date of the application is September. There's nothing to, and now I realize what they wanted. They wanted the projected from September. That's not clear on this form at all. It says 2020 projected revenue, and that was compared per that email to your 2019 annual gross.
And that, I would have read it as projected for that year based on the date of the application.
Correct, which is why you would have received money and 25 other companies didn't, because it was an interpretation issue. There was nothing to indicate you don't. There wasn't even anything about COVID in this area. It was your company demographics, your business organization and tax structure. That's not from the date of the application. That's from the date of your business or of a yearly business projection. There's nothing here that says what is your projected revenue after COVID-19 or including loss from COVID-19. That's, and I took it down the hallway to the business teacher and I said, can you take a look at this and explain this to me? And it's flawed.
I'm ready to take a look at the grants. Are you ready, Eric and Bill?
Take a look at what?
The grants that have been proposed. Are you ready to look at those?
Okay, we'll see what.
Here they are. This is the amount of the award, and this is the amount that this is the amount that the commission wants to give. This is the amount they asked for.
Mr. Bauer, I hate to interrupt you, but I would like one more comment to be made.
You are interrupting me. Let us have our meeting, please.
If you would allow me so. I think if we go back to Mrs. Bynes' statements, the problem in this whole situation is the unclearness of how much information should have been put on the application. We have one commissioner, as Commissioner Knoll, admitting to that. So with one commissioner admitting to that, looks like we should get another commissioner to step up and say the same, and we review this whole process before you go on and award money for businesses at this. You keep saying there was $2 million that was asked for. There was only $725,000 allotted. I agree, that's a big difference. But with all the businesses that have been affected, somehow there should be a formula that everyone gets to share part of that $725,000. Now, granted, some are going to get less than have been.
I can't see a
but that's going to be the process to be fair for the community of Atchison.
Who's speaking?
Mark Service.
Okay, Mark, let us do our job here, okay?
But you're going to do your job before we've made a decision.
We are making a decision.
You're getting ready to award the grants versus telling us if you're going to examine to review it.
No, we're going to look at them one by one based upon the information we received today. We're not going to give a mass
approval. The numbers need to be changed on the application.
Okay, I'll wait to listen to how this goes.
So we're going to start off by going down through the grants that were awarded, and the commissioners can weigh in if they want to leave it the same or decrease it. Or I guess I can increase it too. So let's start with kinetic body shop. Commissioners got any comments or?
Needs to be done away with.
Bill, Eric,
I don't have any comment on that one.
so are you happy with it or?
Yes.
Bill,
No, I'm not happy with it.
how much, what would you like to see?
Well, my comment is we have more than one auto body shop in town. And if it hurt Comic all that bad, why didn't the other two put in for application? I think that's a case where, oh, I hear they got some money given away. I want to get my hands in the pot.
So, well, that's fine, but they had to do an application.
And I may also say to the viewers that I voted no on the rainbow. I thought that was ridiculous. The excuse I was told, well, we got to make sure that we're going to give that money away. And if we don't do that, we may have to return some of that back in. And my statement was, we are going to have more requests than we have money for. I also said 2 weeks ago, I would not support this. I would not support this as presented.
So Bill, are you going to say you don't want to fund kinetic body shop? That's what we're talking about currently.
Correct.
Okay, so the chair entertain a motion to, would you want to give an amount? You said 0, Bill?
I would say 0.
Okay, Eric says he's fine with it. I'm fine with it.
Are we actually going to make a motion, or are we just going to approve it tentatively and
We're
do
going to
a
go,
group?
this is all tentative. We'll go through it, see what we have left over. Is there an amount you're happy with, Eric?
I'm fine with Comic. I'm trying to get my computer froze, so I'm trying to get back online.
Okay, the next one's Atchison Childcare. The award was $10,000.
I'm fine with that one.
Eric?
I'm fine.
Okay, Boys and Girls Club of Atchison.
I'm fine with that one.
They have a award of $2,000. Atchison Golf Club of Bellevue. $27,742.
Reduce.
Eric?
Well, I can't see it up here right now. That one, put a question mark for me on that one.
Okay, so we'll come back to it. We'll put the question there. Okay. Now, Atchison Dental Associates, $20,000.
Reduce.
Eric?
They're
I'm
one
okay
of the
with-
triple dippers.
Are they? See, since I lost my computer, I had everything that I was going to compare. Is that one of the? Is that one of the ones that were awarded through the city?
Well, I don't know if that has anything to do with this particular process. We don't know what was given to the city. The city did not give it for loss of revenue. And it's not the Sparks grant, it's a CDBG grant. So I don't
Okay.
know if any dentists did it. It's 20,000 for accidental, 20,000 for Sunbeam Dental, and 6,000 for John Dolan's.
For now, let's just go with the recommendations.
Okay. Cedar Ridge Catering and Banquet Hall, $15,000.
Okay.
Jerry's again, $15,000.
Okay.
Bill?
Yeah.
Lopez de Mexico,
Yes.
$15,000. Whoops, that's 150.
Yes.
I'm sure they'd like that. Maria's Restaurant, $15,000.
Yes.
Yes.
Palucci's Restaurant, $20,000.
Yes.
Reduced to 15.
Eric?
I guess I have to go back to the committee's recommendations without having to go back and individually assess each one of these as we go. I've looked at them, but then to assess them on the fly, I will have to defer to the committee, and I would go with a 20.
I think the reason that Palucci's was at 20 was because their volume was substantially higher than the other restaurants. Their sales volume was substantially higher than the other restaurants. And the reason Sunflowers at 10,000 is that's what they asked for.
Okay.
So those are the reasons there's two issues there. Sunflower Cafe, 10,000.
Yes.
Okay. Benedictine College, $50,000.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so
That's a hard one.
I think that they asked for $20,000 of their $185,000 for an app, which was $20,000. They discovered the app would not work on Apple phones, so they're not going to spend the $20,000. I would, in this first pass, look at reducing that to $30,000.
For Benedictine?
Mhm.
Okay.
They're not going to spend $20,000 that they originally planned on. So it's not like taking it away. They're not going to spend the money.
Okay.
Okay. So we make that 30,000. And I don't know how I jumped past the Elks Club at $3,850.
I don't have that on my list. Oh, yes, I do. Yes.
You okay with that, Bill?
Yeah.
Okay, more help, $50,000.
Yes.
Yes.
Acorn,
Yes.
Is that the vape store?
that's, I believe that's a store. It's up on Unity Street, about 9th and Unity.
The convenience store?
Yeah,
And what was their request?
the request was for 15 and we awarded them 15.
I would reduce.
Eric?
I'm okay with it.
Okay, Wheatland Contracting, $30,000.
Yes.
AHG Investments, DBA Quality Inn, $19,435.
Yes.
Atchison Hospitality Group, $4,955.
Yes.
Yes.
Action Chamber of Commerce, $35,000.
Reduce.
Eric?
Let's question mark that one also.
Atchison Education Foundation, $8,000.
Yes.
Yes.
Atchison, oh, sorry. First Judicial District K.S.A Association, $3,000.
Yes.
Yes.
Housing Authority of Atchison, $7,000.
Yes.
Yes.
Humane Society of Atchison, $26,000.
Reduce.
Is this in addition to the economic development money also?
I don't know what you're referring to.
Weren't they included on the last tier, the only one? Was that the Humane Society?
I think there was a little money left over, and I think the committee gave Humane Society some of the balance. It's a small amount.
I probably wouldn't. Let's all agree to this expenditure for now, and then we'll see what,
Do you want a question
maybe
mark on it,
maybe
Eric?
not the back end.
Do you want me to question mark it?
Yes.
Okay, $500 for the railroaders. Project Concern, $12,000.
Yes.
Yes.
Salvation Army, $50,000.
Yes.
Yes, if not to be increased.
St. Benedict's Parish, $47,525.
Let's question mark that one. I want to go back and look at that one again too.
Salvation, oh, sorry. 60 Financial Services, $551.
Yes.
Yes.
Travel Center of Atchison, $10,000.
Yes.
Atchison Merchants, $19,090.75.
Yes.
Bill?
Oh, I don't know about that one. Question mark it.
Skyway Vapes, $10,000.
Remove.
Eric?
Question mark that one.
SW Music Supply, $2,000.
Yes.
Bill?
I didn't hear who you said it was.
SW Music Supply.
I guess so.
Theater Atchison, $25,000.
Yes.
Bill?
Reduce.
Eric, are you saying yes?
I said yes.
Wagamuth Equipment, $9,300.
Yes.
Yes.
Patty's Hair Shop, $3,000.
Yes.
Yes.
Lishmi's, $50,000.
Yes.
Bill?
Reduce.
Okay. Atchison Wholesale Grocery, $20,000.
Yes.
Yes.
So let's go back up to the question. Atchison Chamber of Commerce was a question.
Okay. And again, I would say yes.
Bill?
I'll stay with what I said. I think it needed to be reduced a little bit.
Well, the Atchison Chamber of Commerce is funded by bed tax and by the city of Atchison and their members. I would go for 25,000.
What they asked for, it was more than that, wasn't it?
They asked for 50.
Well, I'm on your same page. Yeah, when I say reduce it, I'm not saying zero, but I'm saying reduce it.
Are you happy with 25,000?
I could go for that.
Okay, Humane Society.
What was they awarded? 20?
$26,000.
I say 15.
Eric?
I'd agree with that.
Okay. Atchison Merchants.
Yes.
Bill?
What was their award?
19,090.75.
Reduce.
You're still.
15.
Okay. Skyway
I'm
Vapes.
up. Go ahead.
Skyway Vapes.
What didn't make sense to me, I read their application. They said due to loss of sales, they needed money. And then on the next sentence, down maybe one or two, they wanted to replenish their inventory. Well, they're saying two opposite things to me. I would.
They were awarded for the loss of sales volume because of COVID.
How much have they received already? Does anybody know that figure? They got that figure?
I had to look up their application. I can look it up.
I guess I'm going to say yes.
I'm sorry, I hadn't had I thought I had the screen shared. I evidently didn't. Thank you, Wes, for giving me the total. Okay, so that gives us what total, Wes?
If you scroll all the way to the top, there should be a totaling formula already for you.
Is that correct, Wes? I mean, I just did auto sum. So is that calculation correct?
Scroll up. Yes, it is.
I don't have, we haven't got the Elks Club. Got a question mark there. I'm sorry, you got it at Atchison Golf Club.
What'd they ask for?
They asked for $44,996.03. They were
What
awarded
was,
$27,722.
that's what the board, the committee awarded, 27? You have a number, Eric?
And it seems high, but
I say 15.
I could go with that.
Okay, based on that preliminary, we've got about $100,000 that could be awarded elsewhere.
You skipped St. Benedict's Parish.
Oh yeah, I skipped St. Benedict's Parish. That's why we got so much. I can find
Down towards the bottom.
towards the bottom. Okay. St. Benedict's Parish. The award was $47,525.
To be fair, I'd say reduce. We've reduced some of these others on the higher end, so.
So there's
37 maybe?
Bill,
35.
Eric. Bill says 35.
Either's fine. 35's.
Okay. So we have I'm not as fast on Excel as Mark is.
Jack, on walking with equipment, you accidentally typed in 93,000 instead of what you recommended.
I hate to interrupt, but beans, there's a pause here. I think you guys are still forgetting that in your own application, it eliminates the 6 businesses that are still to receive money that received it from the city CARES money. And, you know, it clearly states in here that you're not entitled to any in this distribution here if you had received it other CARES money. Does anybody have a comment?
I would agree with that. The computer that I'm on has all of those things, so it's hard for me to go back and check for those 6 businesses. Could you name those 6 businesses if you would, please?
Well, it would be in the packet that I sent you yesterday, or
Well,
Bill did, but it's Cedar Ridge, Palucci's, Sunflower Cafe, A&On LC, which is a King store on Unity Street or the old division, Atchison Merchants, and SW Music Supply. Now, again, I will say, this is the only application that I've found in other counties that did that, because the Commerce Department, who I disagree with Jack, is handling the CARES money for the state. That's who is the #1. And they say that's completely fine. You know, we were entitled to apply in both places. But this, like I say, this county in their application has that stipulation in it. So
Does it specifically say that you are ineligible, or does it just say that will be, what's the wording, looked at or addressed?
how it states it is business development costs, online sales and restaurant pickup, delivery, food service supplies, and food, including food processing facilities, for the period of March 1st through December 30th, provided those expenses were not previously reimbursed in whole or in part through other CARES Act funding sources. And that's what the city's distribution was all CARES Act funding.
We were stating that you could not request money to offset what you already got on CARES Act. So that's why there's a question on the application says, did you receive money and what was it used for? So if you said you used it for payroll from March through July, end of July, and you requested that same money on your application, then you were denied. If you're using it for lost profit or lost margin or COVID expenses, which is not what PPP covered, then you're still eligible. So you should not take off those 6 businesses.
Okay, that's the nuance of what I understood, the way I understood it. It did ask in a separate location whether you had actually received any of that. And then the committee looked at to see what that had been spent on, and then considered it from there on. So since it was, like Wes stated, that's the reason that they stayed on. We had talked about that already previously. I couldn't, it's hard to talk the jargon when you're only been exposed to this, you know, just for a little bit, and not been on the committee to go through everything time and again like they have.
One thing I noticed was, we all know that the restaurants got hurt. DJ Bruce got his PPP. He didn't apply for nothing else. So to me, that's saying that, number one, he's not greedy, and number two, he got enough from that to justify his loss. Now, why did not the other restaurants have that same mentality?
I have one thing that I want to say too, and I know on a lot of the applications, there's big numbers were asked for. Well, a lot of times when you do applications, you shoot for the moon. So because a big number was asked for, I don't consider that a problem, because you can't get what you're not going to ask for, knowing that the committee is going to reduce it. So and on some applications for other things, I'm not talking about this specifically, I don't have the guidance on that, you're always asked to estimate high. So be that as it may, I just wanted to throw that out there.
Also,
We got the total number of what we've got now left of that 725 with the reductions.
while he's doing that, all of our information came from the Kansas Office of Recovery, not the Kansas Office of Commerce.
Dennis, while there's a lull here, did you apply for that securing local food systems grant?
With who?
That's the Kansas Commerce it's Kansas Commerce.
Yes, we
That's
did.
the one you did apply for that?
Yes.
Okay. And
Yep.
do you know if you did not receive that, or?
Yes, we have. But according to the people in the Commerce Department, they wanted us to apply for every grant we could to be able to triple to quadruple our size. And that was in March and April. That was a tremendous deal. The state meat and poultry inspection department was all over us to do that. And the reason is with the big plants, they want as many small plants to expand throughout the state to be able to handle specifically local grocery stores, restaurants, and things like that, and get it into a smaller deal where in future pandemics, which like they say is going to happen, you're not closing down. And actually this all started with a fire that they had in the Holcomb plant back in last fall. And that started the whole process. Then when this come along in March, they were already geared up for it, and they had their plan to ask the small processors to get it. In Missouri, if we were across the river, we would have been immediately eligible at the status that we are for a $250,000 grant to immediately expand. And they received their money, and it was through the CARES. They received their money 3 months ago. It was already distributed. That's how important other places are taking, food processing facilities.
But I just wanted, you did apply for and got a grant from that.
Yeah. Yes.
Good.
Yep.
I'm glad, because after I talked with your son about this last week, was it Brad?
Yes.
Yeah. And I had Google searched it and found that program, but I'd seen the window had closed. So I was glad that you had got to partake in that portion anyhow.
Yeah, in all actuality, when they had their grant application they left the food service or food processing part of that open for an extra 2 weeks, trying to get more people to
Apply.
And, but on the flip side of it, they had applicants that had never been in the business before, applying for it. And they were looking for people that were already in it and knew the ins and outs. It's just like everything else. It's quite a process to be to that level. So.
Okay. Well, I'm glad that you got that part of the COVID funding anyhow.
Well, yes, we are. And I'll tell you, if we don't get a dime from the county, we're going to move ahead with it, because we had already decided that, we were thinking about it before the pandemic. We're still not caught up. We're still working 7 days a week trying to provide meat for people, and, which is okay, but a new facility can enhance that. So, and thank you guys for your time.
You bet. Is Chairman Bauer on? Did he get dropped here?
I don't see him on.
He's not
I'm not-
currently.
I haven't seen him. I don't know where he went. But I do know there's some chats in there that you probably should acknowledge. And I've also got Phil Banowitz with Moore Hill that would like to talk to you real quick.
Okay, let's go with him then.
You're unmuted.
Unmuted. Okay, so you guys can hear me. So I don't know if Jack's on there right now, whatever. I just, number one, I've been sitting in on this whole thing listening, and you guys have a very tough job, and I just want to say thank you. I'm sure as you look through our grant, you saw that we are in dire straits right now. Moore Hill Mount Academy has been around 155 years. And I don't know if the school's ever encountered something quite like what we're going through now. And, things that we could not control because of COVID has, put the existence of this nice high-ranked Catholic boarding school in Atchison in jeopardy. And so, although our needs are great and we always go for the private funding, the donations, we never get public funding. I just want you to know that I'm very grateful for you guys understanding that Moore Hill Mount Academy is a real important part of the community. And I think it would be a tragedy if we lost our school. And I appreciate it. I know you're able to pretty substantially, and I'm just grateful. So thank you very much.
Thank you. And Kaylee, what else did you say before that? I wasn't prepared to be leading this. I don't know where Jack is, but Kaylee?
I'm right here. Sorry, I'm trying to use two. I said something about chats that are in the chat box. I know my chat has been blowing up, so you guys should all have chats as well. And I think Mr. Henderson hopped on to try and say something as well.
Okay, Pat.
Commissioner Bauer sent me a text message that his computer died and he's restarting and we'll be back on in a minute.
Okay. I'm trying to get to the chat so I can address it. I see a chat here. It says, does anyone have a copy of the agenda for today? And does it mention that they were signing payouts today? I believe, oh, I see Jack's back on. Are you ready? He's still not vocal yet. Yes, that was on the agenda. We actually talked about the funding last week, and we had postponed it because we wanted a hearing, and we hoped, put it this way, we hoped to have a resolution today. Jack, are you back?
I am back, and I apologize for, I don't know what happened. My computer just crashed. And is Mark still there, or Mark or Wes?
I'm on. This is Mark.
Okay, Mark, I'm on my iPad because I don't know. I'm going to try to open on my computer, but it doesn't seem to want me to let me in on my computer. So let's see if I could. Yeah, it says I can now. Okay. Somebody just need to let me in the meeting. I don't know if that's Kayla or.
I'm letting you in.
Okay.
Kayla, you have a lot of reverb.
Okay. Sorry. I can't tell you what happened. Whoops. Wow.
Jack, you're muted.
Okay. I should be unmuted.
You've got bad reverb too.
Jack, you need to disconnect your phone.
I don't think my phone's Okay. I'm sorry to disrupt the meeting like that. My computer just completely crashed. But now I'm back. So let me go back to sharing the screen. Okay, we were at Atchison. Obviously my Excel crashed too, so I don't know what we have in for the Elks Club at this point. I'm sorry, the Atchison Golf Club, what did we decide for them?
$15, wasn't it?
I believe so.
Severe. Okay. Actually, golf club, 15,000.
Jack, you also
That's one of some of these.
Jack, you also need to change Watermouth equipment to 9,300 instead of 93,000.
You'll be happy.
It's towards the bottom.
Oh, wow, but she would be happy. Okay, have I got it done correct now? Can't be correct.
Scroll down to St. Benedict's. You had left them off earlier.
St. Benedict's Parish. What did we decide there? I'm sorry. Did we decide 35,000? Is that right, Eric and Bill?
I believe that's the figure we settled on.
Okay. I have a number in here wrong.
I have 150,357. Is that correct?
That can't be right.
Oh, I bet it is.
Jack, if you would go in on your worksheet in column I, column I, and just plug in the values you want in column I, it's automatically going to populate that cell. It's going to give you your sum in cell H4, where it says 875,306.50. When you update your amounts in column I, it will update that total for you. You don't need to put anything in column H.
H4. Okay, so now I'm at commission grant of 875. So I got something wrong.
Jack, it's picking up that total of 150,357. That's an incorrect total. You need to delete both of those cells. There you go.
Okay.
Delete the contents. You got a value there that's going to mess it up. You need to actually delete the contents. There you go.
Okay.
And then you need to update your amounts in column I with what you had in column H, what you want to award, and that will update your totals.
All I gotta do is auto sum, right?
Jack, you do not need to add a sum. That's what's happening in cell H4. That is the sum for the column. Do not add that sum. That sum is already in for you. As soon as you update the amounts, go to H4, and that's going to have the updated total for you.
Something I got wrong. Okay. The updated total is the same as we had before.
So now your next step is to go to column I and update your amounts that you put in column H. You just move those over, or just plug those values in column I. That's where you're supposed to plug in your values that the commission wants to award. So whatever you have in H, go over to I and put that value in. There you go.
Okay. So that's 644,591. So that would equal how much? Can I put the equal number in there, Mark?
Yeah, I'm not sure what you're trying to accomplish. That formula is already calculating off of column I for you. You don't need to put anything there in column I. The cell in column H is your total for column I.
Okay, I see that. I was trying to calculate the difference, Mark.
Oh, so take plus E4 minus H4, and that'll tell you your difference between the 725 and this.
So E4 plus?
No, plus E4. You have to do the plus sign first. Plus E4.
It's been a while. So what's E4?
Minus H4.
Minus H4. So we have $80,000. So now, where do you want to spend the $80,000?
Well, I think we probably just have to go on down through these, or do we want to address the people that are on today? Or do we want to name each one of these?
Well, first of all, I want to bring up a subject that it's going to be a tough subject for people watching here. But I have a company who claims they mailed in their application and it never arrived at the clerk's office. And that's poor Richards. Do we want to allow the application?
I think, I'm sorry, can I say something, please?
Oh, no,
this is Monica Biden.
Monica, this is between us, okay? You can listen.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
So,
can you respond to the comments, please, then?
Do we want to allow a late ballot or a late application?
We discussed that this morning. I believe that there was some evidence that they had filed it. They had a copy of it, I believe. Is that correct? And
yes.
Did I hear any response?
That was a yes.
I would say that we could look at it.
Well, we're going to decide here. So the thing is, I had Wes calculate it, what it would be if we use the formulas for their application that we used before, and it would be $5,700. And also, we went back and looked at J.W. Poorboy, and it's not a lot of money, but he would have received $2,500.
If what? I don't think the,
I think we made a calculation error on J.W.'s, I don't know if it's big boy or poor boy. But they would have received $2,500 for that calculation error. And poor Richard would receive $5,700.
well, I think we need to just go down and probably go down the list like we did before, see where we come out.
Okay, so do we want to put them in?
I would put them in the mix for now. We could
Okay,
see
so
what money comes out and see what, if there's enough money to go around. If things are, again, tight, we could still disqualify them. You know, I hate to leave them out. I think they've got a legitimate.
well, I'm going to put it in and we'll see what the effect is.
Is there any way we could put an asterisk or something by those two? Because we'll have it down.
Maybe we'll go here to the rest. Now, Mark is just going to calculate.
Jack, if you put it in column I, it will update the total. Yes.
Okay, we put those two in. It'll now be, we'll still have 77,857. Of course, everybody realizes no matter what we do, we're going to have somebody upset with us. But we want to try to be as transparent and fair as we possibly can be. Now today, we had Margie Bankley appear, and she asked for us to consider giving her more money. But the thing she asked for beside, we gave her the COVID money and we gave her the COVID money and we gave her the lost revenue money. So it's pretty consistent with the rest of the restaurants.
Are we going to go down the list like we did before?
Well, we still got a question mark at Skyway Banks, by the way. What do you want to do with Skyway Banks? We're in for 10,000 right now.
Five.
Eric?
That's okay. I'll go with your suggestion.
You're like me, that's more generous than we should be, Eric.
The 10,000 was based upon the formula. Now, Mark, am I still right? I got $72,000 to allocate. Now, the hair loft.
That's correct, Jack.
If I go back and look at their application, they didn't provide the information they provided it to us this week with the letter. So, do you want to look at the hair loft at all? That's Diane Cervais.
I hate to comment on this because they are longtime family friends, but I will say in her self-defense, she was mandatorily shut down And I would be in favor of giving her the 5,200 or whatever.
Well, Patty's Hair Shop got $3,000 and asked for 11,000.
Who's that? Which shop?
Patty's Hair Shop.
Patty's Hair Shop.
Are we going to go down the list as we get to them? Oh, I don't have part of that on my. I'm
If you
sorry.
want to get to the list, Country Dog Grooming.
No.
No.
Tammy's Dog Wash.
No.
No.
R&S Automotive LLC.
No.
No.
Okay. Frederick Service DBA Martin Stitch and Sweets.
No.
No.
Okay. JW Boys, I added up above there. So Diamond Seafood LLC.
I would like to see some go towards that.
I would too. We kind of,
25?
I was going to say, earlier we done one that was a half. Why don't we try to stay around that mark so for consistency until we get through the list and see where we're at?
I would agree with that. So
Well, I tell you that I love the idea of his project. There's lots of ideas in here there's lots of people in here that have economic development money. If we're not going to consider theirs,
Well, are you suggesting that the money that was left, the savings we had from above, have the Spark Committee look at this again?
Wes, I don't think so. I think we gotta make the decision. Yeah. We didn't allow any economic development before. We know that we do know that the hair loft made her equal with Patty's Hair Shop, $3,000. I don't even know what these other, like for example, Martha's Stitch and Sweets. I can look that one up really easily. So
That's in Effingham.
the River Bend Habitat for Humanity is a good organization. We did not award them anything.
they didn't get anything because the way their grant was probably written, Bill.
Commissioner Bauer, there were other opportunities for people to speak and interrupt your meeting, and I'm going to right now. This is the most unethical distribution of funds I have ever seen. Send it back to the committee to decide. You have until December. You cannot just willy-nilly decide that, oh, that's a good one, we're going to give them money. You cannot do that.
Okay, we're moving on. Martha's Stitch and Switch.
Sweets.
They wanted money for an air conditioning, windows, and a new roof. For a new roof, new HVAC. They said that their projected revenue for this year was $30,000. So they didn't show any.
I thought we done voted no on that, didn't you, Eric?
Yeah, I think we did too. Just using that as an example.
I'm getting a bunch of pop-ups, but it's there for like a second and I can't get them read. Are you getting the same thing?
I believe that's the messages.
Yes, but they're only up there for a second.
Yeah, you have to, if you see a little red dot that says chat, push on, and then the messages will come up.
Okay, so let's keep going through the JW Boys. You got another, we put it in there for 2,500. Fine Construction, BC Storage. Let me look at that grant. Fine Construction / BC Storage. Amount of funds requested $20,000. That's there. Reinvest for rent lost. Reimburse for upgrades. Continued upgrades and upkeep. They said that their projected revenue was $25,000. Their annual revenue in 2019 was $10,145.
$5,000.
Agreed.
Okay, Bell Construction. Mark, will that calculated, that 5,000 I just stuck in there for?
As long as you keep adding your numbers into column I, it will append that total at the top. It's adding the entire column.
Okay. Okay, Bell Construction. They asked for $50,000. This is what they said. This will help retaining full-time employees, payroll, and also the slowdown in jobs to COVID-19. We're using this funding will also provide business and local business use. What they're saying, they'll spend their money locally. There's a lot of confusion with this one because the numbers were a challenge. This one, as you went back and asked for more information on.
That's correct.
Did you get an answer back?
Jack, let me look in the folder. You guys have the ones we received messages on too. Let me pull it up.
I'm sorry, I just don't have it at my fingertips.
We did not receive a response back on that.
What do you want to do, commissioners?
I don't know.
Question mark.
Mark it. Let's question mark it, move on for now.
Okay, Brown Construction. Wants $50,000. Please describe your intention for growth and equipment upgrade, employee benefit. If you were awarded less the amount, what would you allocate? Equipment upgrade and employee benefit. We back and ask for a question. We have some questions on his. also, Mark?
Yes, we did. He replied back. He would be purchasing equipment, a telehandler, a dump trailer, and a service truck.
Okay, and we did not give him a grant. He's a sole proprietorship, has no employees. Commissioners?
I'm getting overload.
I'm trying to look down the rest of the list and see if anybody stands out that should get some money versus going down through all these construction contractors to see, because you got so many, and how you going to give something to one and not the others, I don't know. Unlike Eric, it's getting heavy.
Well, you know, these general contractors were really hard because all of them wanted more gas, more gravel. They were really hard to follow why they were. But that doesn't mean they didn't need the money. I'm not trying to say that. Steinlight, they're a manufacturer in town.
I would say no.
Or Brown Construction.
No on Steinlight.
Okay.
Agreed.
And what about Brown Construction? One
No.
man. Okay.
For now.
VRT and VRT Construction. Have you guys looked at his application?
I've looked at them all, or went through them as quick as I could, and but
Well,
when you're comparing one to the next, it all runs together.
it gets dizzy, yeah, I understand.
And so, I'm trying to pull up to refresh as we go here.
So BRT requested money. Pricing has increased materials due to the pandemic. People are pushing off projects to more stable time. The funds would use to pay normal monthly expenses and payroll. Under his projected revenue, he shows that he will exceed this year's revenue. It says 250,000 versus 243 last year, and to date he has 190. So that would pretty much indicate that he has the revenue compared to last year. So
No.
okay, Glenn Schmidt dozer work.
No.
Agreed.
Pruitt Construction. It shows his projected revenue at 600,000 for 2020. His last year's revenue was 413. His through July 31st was 228. He wants to use the money for offset payroll expenses to maintain current workforce with the possibility of employing workers.
With that forecast, I'd have to say no.
Okay.
I'd say no as well.
Okay. Quality home design. reimbursement of income, loss of income. We are a construction bonding company. We have lost work. Their projected revenue is 45,000. They did 120,000 the previous year. They do not have any employees. They use all subcontractors. They asked for $50,000.
I might would consider some here, but not that high.
Well, what do you want to do?
I would agree with that, not the 50.
What do you want to put in there, Bill?
Okay, that's the one that has no employees, correct?
Right.
Only contractors.
I would probably say no to it then.
Okay. Steinlight. Delayed recovery from COVID-19 has slowed down hiring additional employees, taking back housework that had been sourced during the slowdown and being better equipped to handle orders. Additional labor will be implemented to extend the funding. They expect to do 650,000 this year. They did 606,000 last year. They did 250,000 to July 31st.
I'd say no.
I'd say no.
Yeah.
No.
The river bend, and I know you guys are asking about river bend. I think river bends
$15.
I lost river bends here.
Oh, the Habitat for Humanity?
Yes.
Let's plug in 15 for now.
Well, the committee said 0, so that's a big jump. But if both you two say 15, then we'll put that in.
What?
Well, the committee
May I
projected 0 on all of these.
May I ask what?
Go ahead, Bill.
That's true. I was going to ask why they projected 0, but you're right. They did project 0 on all these.
All of these were 0.
Yeah.
Okay, so I put in 15,000. Midwest Lakes.
Yeah.
Have you looked at their application?
Trying to get it pulled up.
They do professional services.
Continued business expense, website online, video program, pass to pay, full-time employees, percentage of money, and no advertising equipment funding. Firstly, there's one full-time employee who would be paid some catch-up on their household bills. They expected $16,000 of revenue this year. We did 5,600 last year. So they would see that would indicate that they're going to have an increase, but they've only done $380 year to date. So what do you want to do? I think there's conversation today. He's done some pro bono work on doing some photography and stuff like that.
Plug in 500. I mean, that's.
How about put it at 1,000?
Okay. How much have we got left? Are you putting this in your computer, Jack?
Yeah, 51,000 left. But we want to go. I want to go back and look at some we took money away from.
Yeah.
And I think we have a couple question marks on this line too.
Regan Tax and Accounting. Funds to help use hire employees, assistant area owners, and business individuals. She expects to have revenue of 146. I don't know how she can hit that because she's only has 61 year to date, and she's a tax service. So
On that basis, I'd have to say no.
I would too.
Gateway Realty. LJR.
LTR.
See the attached list. Redesign office, ID separation, purchase install. That's probably why that dusted off as a purchase MailChimp, all economic development. That's why I wasn't considered. Hello, Eric.
No. I'd have to.
No. Did you say no, Eric?
Yes.
September Hills. Basically, they want the money for a disability study. Okay.
No.
Scott Motor Company.
No.
You want to see here and there. Sole proprietor. they expect to have an increase in sales this year. It's got a revenue of $50,000.
No.
Which one was that on?
Scott Motor.
Yeah, I'd say no.
Okay, the hair loft asked for 5,500. We originally, a little while ago, we said we'd give her 3. You want to consider anything different?
I want to look at the application again. And you said what or about this did you say, Jack? I missed it.
She doesn't have employees. I have contract labor. I have 3 stylists. Pay weekly chair rent. We're faced to close for 9 weeks. These 9 weeks were no charge for chair rent. I received no unemployment or no other grants. Lost income, 4,400. Bill paid while we're shut down, 1,100. Bills, insurance, maintenance of building. She actually showing that she's getting more revenue than last year. They confirmed, and Mark evidently confirmed it with the owner.
Again, it's the business that was totally shut down.
Mandatory.
And I put it in up here with next to Patty's. Well, I thought I did. Patty's, I don't know. I can't compare Patty to anybody else. What do you want to give her? You want to give her anything?
Trying to find the figure. What was she asking? 55?
$500.
I'd put in 3,500 and then let's put an asterisk by that one or a question mark because we could.
I'll put an asterisk, it doesn't add up. So I'll put one to the bottom. I'll highlight it. Okay. Whoops, I didn't even put it in the right block. Okay. High nails. They were shut down like all other salons.
Hey, Jack, I have to interrupt you. You put the amount for hair loft on the row for high nails, it looks like. Please check.
Oh, sorry. Okay. We're going to come back and look at that. Okay, high nails. They look like they're going to lose half their revenue. They have 2 employees. And I think we had some questions. We didn't get an answer back from them, Mark.
That is correct. We requested additional information and did not receive a response.
What I would be concerned about this applicant is if we could miss something in the communication. But to me, they kind of follow the same thing here a lot. So you have 4 salons here. Hair loft, high nails, KT, and Taylor R. Jones.
I noticed on this one, it says pay bills and fix the roof, which is economic development.
Yeah.
On that.
They're losing half their revenue, and I don't know why we would drop that out of there, except They probably didn't answer our questions, so we dropped them because of that. I would say that there might have been an ethnic reason. Maybe they didn't understand the process.
Leaving that 3,500 in there is okay with me. Now, that's just,
You want to make all these hair salons $3,500?
Yes. Go back up to the top one, Patty's hair. What do we give her? 3,000.
Yeah,
Make them all 3,500.
Okay. Rolfs Brothers,
No.
Catholic Charities. Community Corrections is a government agency,
so that one's out, correct?
yeah.
And Catholic Charities,
Well, we put Catholic Charities in the application. And they wanted to use it for hiring people, so.
was there a problem with that one on their home address?
I think Wes mentioned that
Well,
their office was not in Atchison County, so that's why they ruled that one ineligible.
that could be similar to the Salvation Army. We just want to make sure the money's spent in Atchison County. So if they're going to help people with their utilities and things like that.
$5,000.
How much?
5.
Maybe I'm going to ask Pat Henderson a question. Is that a problem with, does that automatically throw it out, or are they still viable even though the committee threw them out on their address?
All the committee did was a recommendation. Final decisions are to be made by the Board of County Commissioners. And so you are free to handle that as you wish.
Okay. Well, I just want to make sure that we don't get into some legality somewhere, and I trust that you're keeping tabs on us here. Yeah, I could go for that. And I'm going to need about a minute.
Catholic Charities have a food? Does Catholic Charities have a food pantry?
No, but they help people with utilities and a lot of other things. First Christian Church has a food pantry, and Salvation Army, and there may be others. Those are just the two that stick in my mind.
Where are we at on our money?
I think we got 37,000. 37,000 once.
What do you think, Eric?
I
We
think
could probably
he
up
stepped away.
that some.
I think he stepped away for a minute.
Yeah, he needs to take a break.
What?
I don't know if you can see
Pat, what's your intake on, what's your suggestion on Catholic Charities?
I don't really have one.
Okay.
As I said, it's up to the board to make the decisions on granting or not on all of these. There were some requests made in chat about allowing, after you've kind of gone through this process, the opportunity for those who were maybe cut to address you as well, and that might be a good idea. You're not necessarily required to do it. There's no specific process in place, but that's a request that's made in the chat. I suggest maybe you would want to read through the chat before you finalize what you do here today.
So how does our total come out? Where are we at?
About $37,000.
37.
This is Mark Service. I would like to make a closing comment, if you're going to allow it.
Hold on, Mark, we're not doing closing comments yet.
Well, I've got things, my schedule is also important, so I'm going to make a comment, and then I've got things to do. I want to thank you commissioners, especially Bill Pohl, for standing up what I think is right. You're going to decline Dinah down to $3,500. I don't think she was outlandish in her amount, so I can't speak for her. But for myself, I'm going to make it a little more easier for you to allocate some funds. I'm going to respectfully decline the $3,500. We have another business we operate in St. Joe, Missouri. We're very generous about trying to contribute back to this community. I think this whole process is unethical, the way you went about this. So if you so decide to award Dinah the $3,500, I think she will accept. But on my opinion, I don't need your help. We're going to make it without the $5,500. I think this whole process needs to be reviewed. This is so unethical. I'm ashamed to be a part of this community. I hope like I said, I'm standing up for Bill because he was the only one that had enough guts to say something. I think the other two commissioners are very untactful. I think the committee needs to be reprimanded on this whole process. So I've got work to do. That's my comments. You let us know how we end up in this situation. Thank you for your time.
I would say let's bump the Catholic Charities up to 12.5. If we got 37 left, that's like half, because they do good things. My only fear is that we've been very generous to the Catholic religion with the college, with the high school, and with this. And we have, I believe, 6 other religious belief churches in town, and they didn't receive any money.
They didn't apply.
And I'll leave it go at that.
No, they didn't apply. Okay. There's a question mark on Bell Construction. I'm just going to make we have he says 4 or 5 general contractors. They all have about the same type of request. The committee didn't award them money. I don't know. I don't know why as a commissioner we want to change that.
I agree.
I figure up we got roughly $20,000 left, correct?
24,857.
24, say 25,000.
Okay, I'm going to take down the screen.
I just had a flash where
I'm going to take the screen down for
I
a
just
second.
had a flash on my thing where one contractor got 30,000.
General contract, Wheatland Construction.
Wheatland Construction LLC got 30,000.
Let's look at their application.
They were up above. Yeah, there they are.
Somebody told me that they don't even work in our county. Is that the plumbing outfit that they work strictly in Topeka and Lawrence?
This organization is LLC Tax and S Corp. It says it's construction service industry. He's saying his projected revenue is $720,000 compared to $1,008,174 last year. So he's going to definitely take a hit in revenue, and I think that's why the committee awarded him the money. They have 0 part-time employees, 6 full-time employees. So they're $1 million business.
What was, my computer's froze up again. What was their projected revenue against their actual again?
720 projected, 1,008 last year.
Well, I don't think we can give one construction outfit 30 grand and then give the other ones nothing. So maybe we need to skim that in half and give a little bit of that to the other ones down below to make it more even. Of course, I don't know. I haven't got their applications in front of me. You know, they may have 50 employees or the other ones have 2. So, you know, I don't know. There's a lot of difference between apples and oranges, but I just want to try to be as fair as we can about this.
I think some people have brought some things to our attention that were important today. But I think, on the other hand, the committee did choose this based upon his employment and his loss of revenue, which you'll have to prove to get the money.
And I'm almost bet that we are going to have some of that takes place, a handful or so, or less than a handful that cut down their loss, but they may have indulged it a little bit.
Right. So let's go back and let's talk to people. I'm going to take this down right now, and then we can, I think we should let people talk that we reduced their payments. I think if they're on the line, we should let them have an opportunity to speak. Okay. Anybody that their payment was reduced, would they like to speak? Now I'll go through them one at a time and see if somebody's on the line. I'm going to put it back up again. Benedict College, would you like to speak? I will tell you that I had a conversation yesterday with Steve Menace, and he agreed that they should get this $20,000. So it's not like a surprise, just FYI. Okay.
Are we going to try to pass this today, or are we going to have a rebuttal? What's the plan? I guess that's next.
We set out today to approve this today. They need to get this out in order to do it. Now, anybody from the Atchison Chamber of Commerce like to speak? We reduced theirs by $10,000. The Humane Society of Atchison, we reduced theirs by $11,000. Is there anybody online that would like to speak? St. Benedict's Parish. Oh, we didn't reduce St. Benedict's Parish according to this. I thought we did. Did we reduce St. Benedict's Parish?
You say it wasn't reduced on there?
It's not reduced on my screen.
Yes, cutting.
I thought we did $35,000.
No, they was asking for 25 and we made it 12.5.
They were asking for $47,525. And are we leaving the $47,525?
Maybe that's the one we reduced to 35,000, wasn't it?
I think you're right.
I'm getting mixed. But I think that's what we plugged in, 35. We reduced it 12.5.
Atchison merchants were reduced by $5,000, 4,000 and change. Does anybody from Atchison merchants want to speak? Skyway vapes, if we reduce that to 5,000. Adam's Hair Shop, that should be 3,500. Lishmai's, 50,000. Mark, are my figures right?
Jack, can you share your screen?
Oh, I'm sorry, I thought I did share.
No worries.
Okay. That-
So Jack, can I get you to point to cell H4 for me, please? So I can just check that the formula hadn't changed. Okay, that's good. And as long as you have amounts in column I everywhere that you wanted it down below, why is that 730? We had 724, 598 was our, what the committee had. Did you,
So what happened? I must have dropped something. I must have knocked something out.
no worries. Well, 725, that's the point is so, at 725, you have 20,000 still to apply.
Yeah.
I can't see what changed right off the bat. I apologize.
Okay, so do we want to add some back into the Atchison Golf Club?
If I might,
What did we do with?
Yeah, Mark?
can I speak on behalf of Atchison Golf Club?
Yeah.
Atchison Golf Club is not a country club. They are a golf course. We hire approximately 20 people, and of them, we were closed down by the governor for at least 3 months, which we could accept no one from the public. During that, keep in mind, all of our income comes in during 6 months, and that was 3 months of the 6 months. And so we are hurting. The question is whether or not it can stay open without some assistance and without this going through. The original request, and we had very detailed information that showed that the losses are around $45,000. We couldn't have any tournaments this year because it was closed to the public. And we were told those would not be acceptable. So there's, for the year, we're going to be down 20,000 for those 3 months. Those are the 3 biggest months. That was 15,000 alone for those, plus all public play, plus the additional problems associated with everything else that goes on. And there's nothing we can reduce. Having said that, the committee had already reduced us to 27,742, and we were willing and able to accept those results. But now again, it appears that it's been arbitrarily cut to 15, which is going to make it very difficult to stay open for the rest of the year. So I just want you to consider that when you're making your final decision.
And when we did open, we were forced to have single occupancy for the cart, which doubled our wear and tear on our cart and limited the number of play we could actually have at that point, increased our fuel costs. And again, it's really hard to make ends meet and maintain this type of a golf course that I think is very important to our community. Once we did open back up, it's trickled in a little bit of increased play because people at least want to be outside, but it's been a pretty big hardship for Bellevue. Thank you.
Commissioners.
I could go up to 20 probably on that.
20's fine, but that would be my max.
That's my max.
So what if I try to get you to 22.5?
20.
20.
So Bill, what did you want to reduce Atchison merchants?
Didn't we quote a number?
But why did you want to reduce it?
Atchison merchants, where are they at? I don't see it on my spreadsheet. Now I don't have a spreadsheet.
It should be line 49.
The committee came up with 19,090, correct? Again, its projected revenue is very close. What are you reading on his 2019 annual?
I don't have it in front of me.
Is that a 7976?
I have to look up.
Okay. What's the acronym or the initials EIDL? It's escaping me. He's got it split into request into PPP for 37,000 and then the rest in EIDL, which EIDL.
That stands for Economic
Commissioner Knoll,
Disaster Loan.
Yes?
I think EIDL refers to an economic injury disaster loan through the SBA.
Okay, thank you. I wouldn't have got that.
Why did we want to lower that one?
We could go back to the committee's recommendation.
I know that, I can't remember his name, Mark somebody, called me
Lineman?
out.
Or, no, that's
Fair
Scott.
rate or service or whatever it is. The person who owns this business is my son-in-law. I do not own this business. I don't even have a nickel's interest in this business, other than he's my son-in-law. So I don't own this business. I used to own this business. Well, it's changed names. I want to make it clear, I don't own any retail business in Atchison. Except, I'm sorry, I own 1,000 shares of Walmart. But that's the only retailer I own in, that's the only retailer I own in Atchison. You know, I hate to go back and argue at this point, and I'm really going to get myself in trouble with the whole world. But we have $15,000 left.
Jack, that's $10,000. Jack, that's $10,000. Remember, you have a formula problem because someone changed something on the committee proposal was $725, so you have 10,000.
Okay, we have $10,000.
What businesses, I mean, that's a loaded question, were hurt the worst? Is the ones with the mandatory shutdown, small businesses. So,
I'm gonna tell you, Eric, they're all hurt. And
correct.
Today, Retail Track came out and said businesses could expect to have a 25% decrease in foot traffic in the 6 weeks of Christmas. 25% reduction in Christmas traffic. And that's going to affect every restaurant, every retail store. It's going to affect a lot of people. Even salons, people aren't going to be going to parties and stuff. So it's going to affect everybody. And I don't think we can take care of everybody. I think we can take care of a little bit. That would be helpful.
Correct, and it's a big enough chore trying to contemplate what the losses already are, much less the future, and there may be future rounds of this funding that people can apply for. We don't know that, and it probably will not be administered by the counties from anything I've heard. But I think the small businesses that were completely under a mandatory shutdown were probably the hardest hit. Restaurants, salons, things like that. Construction companies had, a lot of them, the revenues actually went up. So anything that we could direct in that.
Yeah, restaurants probably the worst of everybody. The average restaurant in Atchison was down about 25%. I mean, it was tough. It's a tough situation, no doubt about it.
Okay, can we go to Diamond C, which is what did we put in there?
25, wasn't it?
Is that? It keeps jumping around.
I'm jumping around.
Commissioner Bauer, it's down in the bottom section.
What is it, Diamond C?
Okay.
Number 67.
Now that's listed at 50 yet. Didn't we have 25 on that?
I think so.
Well, that was, I mean, the committee didn't award money for economic development. I mean,
Jack, could I speak just a minute?
sure.
Yes.
Oh, who's speaking?
Dennis Bell from Diamond
Yeah.
C. We've been watching this all the way through, and Bill and Eric suggested 25, and you never did put it in.
Because I didn't hear them say that.
Is that not correct, Bill and Eric?
I put in
I believe
5,000.
that is correct.
I believe that's correct, and I didn't catch it.
Commissioner Bauer, you just put that on the wrong line. You just overwrote the buy-in number.
Fine. That was how much? The buy-in number? 5,000?
Yes.
Yes. And the, okay, so what is the money? Since we can have him on, what's he spending the money on?
Excuse me, I didn't hear you, Jack.
Dennis, what do you spend the money on?
Expanding the meat facilities like the state has asked us to do.
Yeah, so do you have backup financing and are you in phase 2 application?
Yeah, I told Eric that, yes, but we're eligible according to the Commerce Department, and they encourage us to apply with the county first.
On that, are you able to utilize this money this year, or is it, I mean, that's going to be tough this has to be spent this year, you know?
Right, and I talked that over with Wes, and we can spend 200,000 before the end of December, which we've already spent 35,000 on the dirt work. And the concrete is 93,000, and it'll be started next week.
So Dennis, what I'm trying to find out, have you applied for phase 2 financing?
From the Commerce Department?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so do you have backup bank financing? This is a big, you're talking about $1 million project.
Well, backup and state financing, I'm not sure really what you mean by that, but
I just want to make sure that you can get the project done.
well, yeah, but I tell you, it's a several $1 million deal to expand.
Yeah, it's a big deal. It's a good idea too. So, okay, so $25,000. So that leaves us how much we got to take back, Mark?
Well, I think
you're 15,000 over right now.
15,000 over?
That's correct.
You took it from Catholic Charities? They were on there to begin with. What does that make us all?
I think your total's a little wrong because you had 25,000 in buying, and you had ours in the wrong column.
Diamond C Food Service?
Diamond D, Diamond C.
Yeah, it's on the right column.
It is now.
I corrected it a while ago. So.
Right. Previously in the totals, I don't know what the new total is now.
Yeah. So, Mark, how much money are we in the hole then?
You are over $3,000 right now.
We're over 3,000. Can we handle $3,000, or do we need to take it from somebody?
That's something as the commissioners will have to decide. The question will be as we've come back to, once people start reporting the actuals, there is the potential that some of those will not get those full amounts because if they overestimated their losses potentially. But if everything came in, this would just come out of the county bucket for $3,000.
Commissioners, you have trouble with having county bucket for $3,000?
No.
Bill?
I think we can find $3,000 in cuts in this plan.
I'm tired of cutting and adding. I think we could
Oh,
afford
we gotta,
3,000.
we gotta add 3,000 or we gotta take away 3,000?
Take 3,000 away. Here's the thing, Bill.
Oh, I
Chances
think,
are some of these things won't pan out. In other words, they won't have be able to prove the numbers, and they won't. And if they do 100%, we'd have to come up with $3,000. But chances are it'll be there. I don't think $3,000 is going to break the county general fund.
take 1,500 out of line item 16, 1,500 out of line item 14.
Okay? We're good, Mark?
Yeah, that puts you just 724, 366, and we had 724, 8 or 900. So we're within $400 or $500.
Okay.
Yes.
Can you give us a final document that we can vote on?
If you send this file back to me, I can, Jack.
This file here?
Yes,
You need to clean it up.
I can clean it up. That's not an issue.
I'm not as good at cleaning this stuff up as you are. So.
Mark.
Yes.
You were on the committee with these final numbers that we proposed. Are we way out of line, or do you think that we're reasonable? Be honest.
Commissioner, I think at the end of the day, as we said, that committee went through, had to make some rationalizations in this process, came up with the best estimate of how they thought it should be done. At the end of the day, it is the commission's decision how we distribute that $725,000. I think it's like Pat said, at the end of the day, we were just making a recommendation, basically trying to clean it up for you. So I don't know really how to answer it beyond that.
I will say this, as a county commissioner, I would vote yes on this scenario, and I would have voted no on the other scenario before we made changes.
I'm sending it over to you now, Mark.
Okay, I will watch for it when I get it all cleaned up.
Okay. We're going to have a vote on that when we get the final document. In the meantime, Justin, did you have something you wanted to add to the committee today? I don't see him on here. Okay. Yes, Wes?
The Atchison County Health Officer is extending her local health order, phase 3. Just wanted to make sure you saw that on the agenda.
I did. Do you want to present it, Wes? I don't see her on here.
Yeah, she wasn't available this afternoon. Let me pull it up. It would be emergency local health order 20-12. It would take effect tonight at midnight. The resolution did not, the health order did not change. The only thing that changed on it was the dates. It's still all the same criteria that we've been in since since June 23rd. And she's just extending it for, I believe, November 24th, or to 11:59 on November 24th.
Chair would entertain a motion to extend the health order, which is necessary for FEMA and a lot of other things, till November 24th. Do I have a motion?
Is this for 2 weeks or for a month? I missed that.
November 24th.
This is not the disaster declaration, which is the one for FEMA. This is just the local health order, which does a mass gathering of 45 and says that everyone should wear a mask when possible. And it would go through, it's effective Wednesday at 12:01 a.m. and goes through November 24th, 11:59 p.m.
Okay. I will make the motion to extend the policy, the health order.
Do I have a second, Commissioner Paul?
He's not on.
I'll second that. I lost my.
Okay, you're
Oh,
there.
there. Yeah, I'm here.
Any further,
I'm not here.
any further discussion?
No.
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah, we got you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Commissioner Bauer, I've updated that file and sent it back to you, sir.
November 24th is the last day of classes for the college. Does that have any impact on this motion?
It was just chosen because it's a Tuesday.
Okay. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Bill?
Aye.
Aye. Passes 3-0.
Aye.
3-0. Okay. I'm going to get the
I apologize for the interruption in the last order of business.
no problem. I need to get the Excel spreadsheet pulled up here. Okay. Here is the final document. Let me share it. This is the final document, Mark. Is this what I got in front of me?
That is correct.
Okay. Kind of going through this. Body Shop, Kyming Body Shop receiving $10,000. Atchison Child Care receiving $10,000. Boys and Girls Club receiving $15,000. Atchison Dental receiving $18,500. John Dolan's receiving $6,000. Sunby Dental receiving $18,500. Cedar Ridge Catering and Banquet Hall receiving $15,000. Jerry's Again Restaurant receiving $15,000. Lopez de Mexico receiving $15,000. Maria's Restaurant receiving $15,000. Colucci's Restaurant and Deli and Lounge receiving $20,000. Ravens Humor Locker Room receiving $15,000. The Sunflower Cafe receiving $10,000. JW's Barbecue receiving $2,500. Benedictine College receiving $30,000. Moore Hill Academy receiving $50,000. Aoun LLC receiving $15,000. Wheeland Construction receiving $30,000. AHG Investments DBA Quality Inn receiving $19,435. Atchison Hospitality Group receiving $4,955. Area Chamber of Commerce receiving $25,000. Atchison Community Education Foundation receiving $8,000. First Judicial Council Association receiving $3,000. Atchison Housing Authority receiving $7,000. Atchison Humane Society receiving $15,000. Northeast Railroaders receiving $500. Project Concern receiving $12,000. Salvation Army of Atchison County receiving $50,000. St. Benedict's Parish receiving $35,000. Professional Services, 6D Financial Services, $551. Travel Center of Atchison, $10,000. Atchison Merchants LLC, $19,075.25. Skyway Vapes, $5,000. SW Music Supply, $2,000. Theater Atchison, $25,000. Wagamuth Equipment LLC, $9,300. Poor Richards, $5,700. Patty's Hair Shop, $3,500. Bushmize, $50,000. Atchison Wholesale Grocers, $20,000. Diamond Seafood Services, $25,000. Buy-in Construction / BC Storage, $5,000. Riverbend Habitat for Humanity, $15,000. Midwestern Lace LLC, $1,000. Hairloft, $3,500. High Nails, $3,500. KT and Company Salon, $3,500. And Taylor R. Jones, $3,500. Any questions? The chair would entertain a motion to approve as presented with this document.
Also move.
I so move.
Okay, it's been moved by Eric
I'll
Knoll,
second it.
seconded by Commissioner Pohl. Any further discussion? I'm going to tell you, this was a really hard process. I know that we're going to come under some definite criticism. We're probably going to come under some praise, but we have to do something. Wesley, you want to say something?
I believe you skipped Atchison Child or Elks Lodge and Bellevue when you were reading all those.
I'm
off.
sorry. Atchison Golf Club Bellevue, $20,000, and Elks Club, $3,850. Thanks for keeping me, so I'm not reading things too fast and skipping over stuff. I'd like to thank everybody who participated.
Jack,
Yeah.
Katie Kohler, and when you were going through those numbers, I thought you had decreased Wheatland contracting to 15,000. Was I wrong? On Wheatland contracting, you had still have 30. I thought you discussed lowering that to 15.
Okay. Is
I
that
think
true?
she is correct. I think she's correct.
Okay.
She is correct. We did lower that to 15.
Now, how about Adun LLC? Was that at 15,000?
Yeah, I didn't have anything written down by that one. I had 15. So I don't know what your discussion about that was, but I do know Wheatland, you had said 15.
Okay.
She is correct.
And so give us a few more dollars, around $15,000. Does anybody want to allocate it somewhere else?
Since I found it, maybe Bellevue could get a little more.
I don't know if you'll go for this suggestion, commissioners, but I would suggest giving $12,500 to Catholic Charities and $2,500 more for Bellevue.
What was the second one?
$12,500 to Catholic Charities and $2,500 to Atchison Golf Club.
Reading the messages, most of the dining establishments had a certain amount, and that JW Boys did not receive as much. I don't know whether you want to equalize that or not.
It needs to go up from 2,500.
So how much you wanted to go up to?
What are the other
much we got?
restaurants?
There are 15,000, 10,000, 20,000.
Well,
I don't know, Commissioner Noel. I don't know if you can compare JB's to. They got very small walk-in where the other restaurants have walk-in, but I think we could raise that to say 7,500.
okay. No. It was a suggestion that I just thought was worth looking at. So.
I will tell you that JW has an equal type of volume to the other revenue compared to some of the other restaurants. So.
What did we do with the poor Richards, Ben? She didn't get her application in, or were we going to consider that or not?
We'll actually have her here for $5,700. Right here, this line 54.
But that's not plugged in.
Yes, it is.
Scroll to the right.
Where am I scrolling to?
Well, I meant for Bill to scroll to the right. I think if he's looking at the figure, it's blank in column F. If you look at column I, it shows up as 5,700.
Yeah, that's.
What number is she?
Are you looking at my spreadsheet, Bill? On the screen?
Yes.
She is.
Yes.
She's 54. Line 54.
You haven't got it pulled up enough. I got the 49s as far as I can see.
So there's line 54. You see it now?
Line 50. Oh, I see it now. Yes. Okay. Yes. She's plugged in for 5,700. Okay. Okay. I see it now.
What was she asking for?
You'd have to look at her application. I don't know.
I can look it up if someone really wants to know. We really stretched my
She requested 30,000.
Okay. Okay, so we have $10,000 to allocate. 10,500 actually. Let's take JW's to $10,000. That'll make them. Anybody have a problem with that? No, Eric?
That's okay. Makes them closer to the other restaurants.
So you only had 15,000 available, and I thought you put 12,500 in Catholic Charities.
I haven't done anything with Catholic Charities.
You didn't add that?
I didn't.
Okay.
We have $8,000 available.
All right.
So we have $8,000. Does someone have a place they want to allocate it?
I just had a pop-up and they said allocate it to the 4 hair salons.
Okay. Is that what you want to do, Bill?
Not really, but I'm just mentioning what I had a pop-up. I think it was from Andre Clements. You just said Andre C.
That ain't too bad a suggestion, but again, getting down to the businesses that were
Oh,
mandatory.
she's saying,
Give them,
now she's saying giving it to Steinlight.
well,
I think her husband owns that business, if I'm not corrected.
She doesn't own it. I mean, he doesn't.
No.
Her father-in-law does.
Oh, okay.
the smaller businesses which were mandatory shutdown are priority, I think. So,
Well,
you know,
that's
with
restaurants, dental offices, hair salons, furniture stores. It's a ton of businesses.
yeah.
They added $1,000 to every restaurant to take care of $8,000. Or you could add about 1,500 to every salon.
I'd probably go with the salons.
Okay. So you got a couple different places. You said that 1,500?
They have a put them up to 5,000. Yeah. Oh, there's 4 salons, wasn't there?
5.
Yeah.
We're gonna probably go a little over. Oops. I'm taking money away from them. But they get this thing right. You got $582 left. Why don't we give it to the Northeast Kansas Railroaders? Those guys are out there humping their butt, running those trains for all the kids in town.
Sure.
How much is left?
We got $82 left.
Commissioner, I would just do, if you just do an even 600, that'll put it close in total to the 725,000, and it should be close enough.
Do a 600 for the railroaders? Is that what you said, Mark?
That's
Yes,
fine.
600 instead of the 582.50. Yes, sir.
It'd be 1,100. Am I right? Yes.
So we're short $17.50. We can figure out how to come up with that money. Commissioners can pass a hat. If we have to.
Okay.
Is there any further discussion? Thanks for.
We got to have a new reading, or do we have to have a new motion?
Yeah, for the sake of clarity, you should do that.
Okay.
The full reading, Pat?
Yes.
Exotic Shot gets $10,000. Action Childcare gets $10,000. Boys and Girls Club of Atchison, $15,000. Atchison Golf Club of Bellevue, $20,000. Elks Lodge $3,850. Atchison Dental Associates, $1,850. John Dolan, $6,000. Sunby Dental, $18,500. Cedar Ridge Banquet Hall, $15,000. Jerry's again, $15,000. Lopez de Mexico, $15,000. Maria Mexican Restaurant, $15,000. Lucci's Restaurant, Deli and Lounge, $20,000. Ravens Inc. DBA Dealer's Locker Room, $15,000. Sunflower Cafe, $10,000. JW's Barbecue, $10,000. Benedictine College, $30,000. Moore Hill, $50,000. The Noon LLC, $15,000. Wheeland Construction, $15,000. AHG Investments DBA Quality Inn, $19,435. Atchison Hospitality, $4,950. Atchison Area Chamber of Commerce, $25,000. Atchison Community Education Foundation, $8,000. First Judicial District K.S.A Association, $3,000. Atchison Housing Authority, $7,000. Humane Society of Atchison, $15,000. East Northeast Kansas Railroaders, $1,100. Project Concern, $12,000. Salvation Army, $50,000. St. Benedict's Parish, $35,000. 60 Financial, $551. Travel Center of Atchison, $10,000. Atchison Merchants, $19,075.25. Skyway Vapes, $5,000. SW Music Supply, $2,000. Theater Atchison, $25,000. Wagamuth Equipment LLC, $5,300. Port Richards, $5,700. Patty's Hair Shop, $5,000. Bush Mize, $50,000. Atchison Wholesale, $20,000. Diamond Seafood Service, $25,000. Bayan Construction / BC Storage, $5,000. Steinlight Corporation, Riverbend Habitat for Humanity, $15,000. Midwestern Lace, $1,000. Hairloft, $5,000. High Nails, $5,000. KT and Company Salon, $5,000. Taylor R. Jones, $5,000. That is it, for a total of $724,966.25. I would entertain a motion to adopt.
I'd like to make one comment. Wait a minute.
Go ahead.
I like the
Go ahead, Bill.
conversation. On the child care, we got one at 15 and one at 10. What if we'd make them both 12.5 on the child care? Atchison Child Care is getting 10. Boys and Girls Club is getting 15. What if we would make those both 12.5?
Bill, I think we've got to quit second guessing this thing. I think they're two different businesses. And this is what the committee came up with. I don't want to change if we don't have to change something.
Okay, I'm fine. I'll second the motion.
It's been moved by Commissioner Knoll, seconded by Commissioner Paul. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I assume you're ready to vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Passes.
Aye.
Passes 3-0. Okay.
Commissioner Bauer, I'm going to clean that file up one more time based on these, and I will, so they're all grouped together, and we'll resend the file to you.
Okay. Okay. County Councilor updates.
I don't have anything to add today.
Okay. Any need for an executive session? I don't think so. There's time now for public comment. Would anybody like to make a comment to the commission? Seeing none, the chair will entertain a motion to adjourn at 4:36 PM.
So move.
Moved by Eric, seconded by
Second it.
Commissioner Paul. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I'll see you next week. We're adjourned.
Aye.
Passes 3-0. Aye.
Thank
Aye.
you.
Aye.
I'm done.